I made such a mess making this. Oh my God.
All right. It looks like we are officially live. By Marissa. Angelina, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Boozy Book Broads, our Friday edition. Some of you might know I was with Outpower and Water. I'm one of the Texas contingent. So that's been fun all week, but I'm here and I'm ready to celebrate because I have been in disarray all week. I'm not enjoying the delicious drink that we're having tonight, which is a Valentine's Day inspired margarita. But so I'm going to be drinking some beer. But other than that, everything is here and we're ready. And we're so excited to celebrate with our excellent guest, Naima Simone. Just so very excited to have her here with us. As always, so it is me, it is Danielle Dresser, it is Melanie Johnson. We are the Boozy Book Broads, and we are hosted by the fantastic Love Sweet Arrow, the wonderful Chicago romance-centric bookstore. We're so happy to have them. I'm so happy that they have us. Willing to put up with us once a month. Everybody, we want to remind you, go to lovesweetarrow.com to order Naima's book. We're going to be talking about Back in the Texan's Bed this evening. So very excited. This is phenomenal book. I loved it in every way. We're talking about book. Go there to order her book. You can get signed books. You get lots of swag, romance-centric swag. The featured swag this month from Love Sweet Arrow is going to be the What's Your Trope shirt. Does Danielle or Melanie, do you guys have that shirt?
Want one?
Not yet.
No, but I will share it in the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not seeing, the chat is not showing up for me, so I'm just I'll keep fiddling around and seeing what, but as soon as I can, I will post links and go from there.
So yeah, What's Your Trope shirt, so very important to define, what's your trope? That's the conversation we want to have. And if you order that shirt right now through us, there is a code that Danielle's going to add. You get 15% off. The code is BBBFEB. Swag discount. Danielle will put that in the chat, so check that out. Danielle is our fantastic room mom this month, and so we're going to be having a chat. We want you to fully ask us questions, ask Naima questions, talk amongst yourselves, engage, and we are going to be giving a $10 Love Sweet Arrow gift card at the end of it to anyone who's asks a question, stays engaged, and you got to be on the call for us to give it away. So we promise it's we're lots of fun and there's lots of drinking. So it's going to be a good time. So stay with us throughout the end. But yeah, we'll be announcing at the end a $10 gift certificate to Love Sweet Arrow to somebody who engages on the chat. And yeah, again, our Valentine's Day inspired margarita. We're still in the month of February. So that is the drink of the month. It's like a strawberry champagne, delicious. Yes, Melanie's showing it off. It's fantastic. Again, I'm a little hampered. I have a beer and then I have another beer because it's been a week, but everyone else, don't pay attention to my drink, pay attention to the other delicious drinks that everyone is having. And I'm gonna give a second for everyone to introduce themselves. Angelina M. Lopez, contemporary romance writer, and Naima, please do us the honor of introducing yourself.
Oh, my name is Naima Simone. I am a contemporary romance writer as well. Yay! Yay! And I write books with humor, heart, and hot sex.
So hot. It's so hot. Danielle.
Yes, my name is Danielle Dresser. I am the editorial manager for freshfiction.com. As Angelina explained, I am room mom. So if you see me looking up and over, that is because I am watching what everyone's saying and also causing trouble, because that's what I'm here for. And I did make the drink tonight. I did not puree the strawberries. I just muddled them because I took forever. Putting on this brand new lipstick that was very difficult to put on. So it's very matte. So if you see me it's suck dry to my lips. But anyway, but yeah, this drink is delicious. This was a good choice. So I'm excited to chat tonight.
And Melanie?
Melanie Johnson, also a contemporary romance author. And I did puree my strawberries. So I have a NutriBullet, and almost everything that goes into the NutriBullet is alcoholic.
it's nutritious for the soul. Like
it's getting a lot of mileage. No, that's not true. I do make protein shakes in the morning and then booze at night.
It's a balance. You're balanced, and that's all we need in our lives. Yeah, that's lovely. So we're gonna open the evening with our shots. It's our little bit of our icebreakers. So I want everyone to answer, and we're gonna go Naima, Danielle, Melanie, and then me, and we'll just keep that, just so we can get it in order. So the first question, considering it's February, the month of love, when we romance authors get a lot of attention, kind of sometimes like icky attention. So this is our opportunity to reclaim it. What is your favorite Valentine's Day memory? Naima, go first.
Okay, honestly, I forgot this until recently, which further cements the fact that my husband is the romantic one in this relationship. He proposed on Valentine's Day. How did I forget that? Oh. Yeah, he proposed on Valentine's Day, and it was so sweet. We was in a hotel room because that's what we did when we were like younger, before kids. And he had this whole mixtape and it broke away, and on the mixtape was him proposing, and he just bowed down with the ring. So
wait, was he like, did he record himself?
Yes. I'm telling you, the man is romantic.
Oh my God.
Like me, I'd have been like, here, we're gonna do this.
Do you still have the tape?
Because I'm not the romantic.
But you have the memory.
I do, and it's so sweet now that I remember it.
Now that you
Naima, if that's
I blame it on this, it's this. Like it helps my memories come back.
If that's going to be your contribution, then we're going to make you go last, because none of our stories can top that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we supposed to say now? We're proposed. Wait, I wasn't proposed to on Valentine's Day.
Sorry. Who knew that was going? I totally forgot until I'm telling you. God.
So Danielle, you have the privilege of going next.
I know, that's really hard. I don't know if I can, but I will say, like, my husband is definitely like the romantic. It's really funny being a romance author and for you to be like, I don't care, like, whatever. No, I get it. I do care. But I will say, back when I actually, when I worked in like a kind of a traditional workspace, when I was working in publishing, no matter what, he would send me flowers on Valentine's Day, like every year. And if Valentine's Day happened to be like on a Saturday, he would make sure that they were there on Friday. So like everyone in the office saw them. Very adorable, very cute. He's wonderful. So that's what I think of it. And I'm always like, here's some chocolate that I totally didn't just get you today. You know, like,
stop by Walgreens and pick up.
So that's what I'm with. But yeah, so yeah, I did that. Yeah. And now we have cats. And so we don't keep flowers because the cats will tip them over. So now it's just, it's kind of another day, but it's still fun. We still make it special. So
lovely.
Hi.
Melanie.
So I had a Valentine proposal fake out. Like my husband, at the time boyfriend, was dropping all of these really heavy hints about Valentine's Day. So I remember I was a teacher at the time, a high school teacher at the time. And I remember going out, like winter break had just started, and I went out with a teacher friend, and she's like, oh, what are you guys doing over break? I'm like, well, we're going to go to New Orleans because this was the turn of the millennium for the year 2000. This is how long ago this was. And she's like, "Ooh, maybe something cool will happen." And I'm like, "It'll be fun," but I wasn't expecting anything big because he was dropping these huge hints about Valentine's Day. So as soon as we got to New Orleans, he proposed, it totally surprised me because I was expecting it on Valentine's Day, so it was the Valentine's Day fake out.
I love that. And it worked. Like he did a good job.
I was totally, and he was so like, because we drove down, so from Chicago to New Orleans we drove. And he was acting so weird, and it was because he had the ring in his pocket the entire drive.
Oh, that's so uncomfortable.
And I was just mad. I'm like, why are you being so crabby? Like, what's your problem?
Oh, that's lovely. I love that story. My husband, we were dating in college. I was in college. He was out of college. And I was in my Mexican culture class. And I knew the professor. I'd taken like 2 or 3 classes from him, and I knew him really well. And we'd actually gone drinking. Like my husband knew him. My then boyfriend knew him too. We got drinking with him. So we're in class, and in our, the door to class, it's kind of a bigger lecture hall. There was only like 30 kids in class, but it was a bigger hall. But there was a wood door, and then there was an insert of the window. And we heard this like kind of a bonk against the window. And all of a sudden in the little window were like these balloons. And we were like, what is, and my professor was like, what? And he goes and opens the door. And my husband, then boyfriend, is standing outside the door with like chocolate and balloons. And he didn't mean to bump into the door. So he just has this like shock. And he's like, I was gonna like surprise her after class. And my professor, we've been drinking together. So he's like, just come in. So my poor husband is sitting there with like his balloons and his chocolate in front of my whole class. And I'm mortified and he's mortified. And the professor's just like, give me more of this. Like, I just love every moment of this. But it was like this element of like, this is how much he loves me, because he was like fully engaged in this like horrifying experience.
Love it.
And
That's hilarious.
I'm picturing him sitting there with all of this stuff.
All nonchalant, like
he's a mild-mannered guy too.
And left.
Like he was like sitting in class. It was like dark. We were doing like a slideshow or something, so it was like very proper, lovely white guy, like with like his like yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah. So please, everybody, like, let us know kind of your fave Valentine's Day memories in the chat. The next question is, Valentine's Day can be tricky to negotiate sometimes. There can be a lot of pressure with Valentine's Day. How do you handle, so all of us are married and have been married for some time. How do you handle Valentine's Day in your partnership? Love it or leave it? And please, if you're on the chat, let us know. Do you love it, or do you like, it's a Hallmark holiday, I don't engage in it? So Naima, how you like, kind of what is your Valentine's Day plans most years?
First of all, I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest, I love it because it's like that gift-giving holiday between Christmas and, that long period between Mother's Day. So it kind of breaks it up, because I'm all about the gifts, and because I want them. And so I totally love it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he can leave it actually, because he's like that person who's like, I express my love 365 days of the year. I don't care about the day. I'm like, you don't care about the day, okay. But I better have a gift wrap bag on my desk. That's all I know.
Gifts are my love language.
It is my love language. We've been through this. I want a steak dinner. I don't want no chocolates. I can get that myself. I want a steak dinner, flowers die. Give me a gift card. Give me something substantial. I'm such a whore.
I love it.
Danielle.
We usually keep it pretty simple. Like, it's like we get chocolate, or if you have if there's like something small, that's what we kind of do. And especially since we had our daughter, it's kind of become like she thinks that she gets gifts on Valentine's Day.
And why wouldn't she?
She does. Like this year we did, she got an outfit, she got like a big sticker book, and then like, again, I was like, here's some chocolate for you. And, but I will brag a little bit, because this year, so I can't remember who I saw on Twitter who did this, but they took we announced it last time that I have a book deal with Berkeley, and they announced it, and I saw the Publishers Lunch thing. And in Publishers Lunch, when they announce it to the trades, it's like this perfect rectangle that you like screenshot. And it's the perfect size to go on a coffee mug. So I saw someone do it I saw it on Twitter or Instagram, and I was just like, if you need a Valentine's Day gift for me this year, you know, I like texted him in the middle of the day. And that's what I got for Valentine's Day. I wish I should have brought it upstairs, but if you find me on Twitter or on Instagram, I put it up there. It's really cute. And I'll share our social media later. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
add your Twitter handle to the chat so they can, because it's adorable.
Like, I'm about to text him right now and be like, get me this right now.
I'll find it. Yeah.
It's a cute idea. It was really sweet.
Why did you not think of this?
Yeah.
What a great idea.
I mean, we had many hints, to be fair.
Listen,
but he came through.
I do the same thing. I don't take gifts for granted. Christmas, my birthday, Mother's Day, not only do I have an Amazon wish list, but then I send text messages with the links, the size, and the color. I take none of that for granted.
Why waste money? Why waste money on something you don't actually want?
Why play around and give me something we both know I'm not going to want?
Yeah. Melanie.
So we don't ever like go out because it's always so busy on Valentine's Day. Like even in the before times, we didn't really go out on Valentine's Day. But ever since our girls were born, we made it kind of a special night with them. So we have a dining room table that we never use. Like it's, you know, we never eat it there. We always eat in the kitchen. But on Valentine's Day, we eat at the dining room table with candles and the fancy china. And we do a whole nice dinner with the girls. And so we have a very romantic evening with our kids. But yeah, it's become kind of a special thing. And I didn't really think that our girls were really into it, except that they ask about it every year still. So they're 12 and 17 and they still look forward to it. So
oh, that's
so yeah, and I and I get them little gifts. And actually my husband did not give me a gift this year, but I truly didn't care. Like he's like, is it one of those things where you say you don't want a gift but you really do? And I'm like, no, honestly, I just
Those words never came out of my mouth.
I'm in the middle of a book deadline. I just want you to stay out of my face. That's my gift. It's so romantic. But to be fair, he does buy me flowers all the time, just randomly. So
nice too.
Yeah, we're a leave it family for the most part. Like no, the couple is. I always get something for the kids. But like when I want Valentine's Day, I'm like, Valentine's Day is coming up. I want a gift. I want X. Like, and like I'm the one who sets the precedent. Like this is what I want to do this year. I want to go out. I don't give a, like this year was like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. But I'm like, and every time I'm like, this is what we're going to do. He's like, okay. And then he does it. But there was one year that I hadn't said anything. I'd been really busy. The boys were young. And he came home and he brought like this, like, it was like this from a bakery that he'd ordered, and they made a box of chocolate, and the box was chocolate. And then every chocolate side had been like handcrafted. And then for the boys, he bought this like balloon helium kit. So he comes home with just like this stuff. And I'm like, are you having an affair? Like, what is happening? All of our dreams come true. This is ridiculous. You're definitely going to divorce me, right? Like, and he didn't, and it was such a surprise.
Oh.
So usually I set the tone, but every now and then, like he does, like, and he like knocks it out of the park, and then I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna have to knock it out of the park too, and I won't, because I don't think I'm inherently romantic. So he didn't leave me. That was the end of the story.
I love that.
Danielle, are there any good stories about love it or leave it? Is there?
A lot of people are saying leave it. A lot of people are saying leave it, especially this year.
Yeah.
But I will say Monica said that we loved it, but I make sure to do separate gifts for his birthday and Valentine's. So I'm assuming his birthday is close to Valentine's. So yeah, I have a really good friend whose birthday is February 15th, and she says that like the amount of like just red heart everything that she gets. I think it's akin to like when people have December birthdays with Christmas.
Yeah.
So. Megan says that my husband is an actor who until this year would run a St. Valentine's Day Massacre add-on for the gangster show he was directing here in Chicago. That's exciting. That's a totally different
That's so cool.
I love it.
Love it.
Love that. That is so cool.
Yeah, Linda, who is, Linda in Romance Landia, we all know and love Linda. She said they leave it, but she did hand make Valentine's this year and mail them to her friends. And I got one from Linda that she
Oh my
so
God.
Where's mine, Linda?
Yeah,
Where's mine, Linda?
We're all gonna get really close to the camera and yell at you.
No, I'm giving you such side eye, Linda.
I didn't know I was going to cause problems. I apologize. But I feel very special.
Well, Linda gets a pass because she always promotes Boozy Book Broads.
Yeah,
so Linda, you did the God's work. Thank you very much.
And so everyone who's watching, if you do want to know about like romance events, make sure you follow Linda on Twitter. She's created.
What's her handle? Do you know what her handle is? Anybody?
Share your handle in the chat, and so everyone can follow you because she is like on it, and I'm obsessed with that. So a lot of people are saying, oh, she says to send her your addresses, everyone. So DM her and send her.
Send it to you.
Oh, okay. Now she asks.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't care if Valentine's Day is over. I'm gonna send you my address. I want my card, Linda.
Okay. I'm gonna skip one of our questions because I feel like we're gonna just we could just chat forever and ever. So February, we are kind of in the dregs of winter, super dregs of winter. What do you want to do? What are you good? Everyone keeps talking about the second you have a vaccine or the second we're done, what are you going to do post COVID? But I want to talk about the first warm day, the first warm day you have. What do you want to go do? And again, let's in the chat, please, what's the first day of real comfy warmth? What do you want to go do in your community or in your place or whatever? And yeah, please let us know in the chat. Naima?
I'm gonna do what I'm doing now, which is not go outside because I don't like outside. And then I'm gonna spray for ants because sun is warmth means they come out in droves, and so I'm going to spray so I don't feel dirty. And because I love winter. I live in Alabama, so it's perpetual summer. I love winter, and in the winter, things with legs die. So it's I'm not looking forward to the heat. I'm not. So that's my plan. I'm going to mourn the loss of winter. That's what I'm going to do.
That's awesome. That's not the answer I expected, but it's a good one.
I'm sorry, I'm going to wear a tube top. I'm going to wear a tube top. That's what I'm going
to do. I want pictures. Selfies.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. You see this? Nobody wants that.
Danielle.
Throughout the pandemic, especially last summer, we really made our backyard kind of a very nice sanctuary. So we live on a little bit over an acre, the way our house is situated, we have a pretty big front yard and backyard. It's we're kind of turned to the side anyway. So we have a fire pit. We got a really nice table. We have 2 big umbrellas, so it's shaded. We added an electrical outlet so I can plug in my laptop and work outside, and we just fill up the kiddie pool for my daughter and she plays outside or runs through the sprinklers or whatever. And we spend all day outside. It's really lovely. So I think that's what I would do. I would just sit outside, read a book, have a cocktail, write maybe. I don't know, maybe not. Who knows?
That's lovely.
I miss my little backyard oasis too. But whenever I bring my laptop outside to write, it never happens.
Yeah.
Like it's just too relaxing.
Right.
But what I would do, I really miss taking walks outside. And it's just right now the snow is so high and it's so icy and it's so cold. It's like
Oh wow.
yeah. So I would just like to be able to take a nice walk outside
Yeah.
and not have my face freeze off.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, I mean, I just moved to Houston from Virginia in July. And so essentially like this whole time we've been like outdoor, it's January, we were just outdoors. It's been 70 degrees on average all the time. And so what's happening now is so surreal and unexpected. And so yeah, we have this incredible museum like half a block that way. It's the Manil, and it's this gorgeous, fantastic modern art museum, and it's got these beautiful grass grounds. And so like when I want to take a picnic, I want to take a wine bottle, and I want to take like the basket and all these cheeses and wines and all that stuff, and just like park there. And they have a little van that parks that does cocktails. They're like, you can order cocktails from the van, and we haven't done that yet. And again, this is just a surreal 2 weeks we're experiencing. For the most part, we could have done it all this time, but now I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing it. I want to get cocktails, I want wine, I want cheeses, and I want to lay there all day long, So it does like make me appreciate it. Were there any good responses in the chat?
A lot of people agree with sitting outside, going, especially I think, to make sure we're all staying safe, like hanging out in backyards and their patios. I know Priscilla Oliveras is here, and she says she wants to have a beach day, which I'm very jealous, but she does live in Florida, so okay. But yeah, go to a bar and drink shots and let loose. Like, yeah, I think we all have kind of the same idea. So
Priscilla's got a March 1st deadline, so thank you so much for hanging out with us, Priscilla. That is so awesome.
Sometimes you gotta have a break. Oh, I don't have anything left in my glass, but I've got to turn a book in too. So
cheers.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen. Somehow. It's a mystery. I don't know. It's like Shakespeare in Love, where he's like, it just happens.
It's done. I don't know. I hated every second getting here, but it's fine. So now we're going to transition to the full bottle. We're going to focus on Naima and her incredible book and her incredible writing. If you have any questions, please include them in the chat, and then Danielle is going to provide them as we go over. And again, if you have a question or if you get engaged, you've got an opportunity to be part of our $10 Love Sweet Arrow gift certificate giveaway. So Naima, I want to preface this with, when my debut book came out, we asked for blurbs. My editor and other people did that work for me. But one of the first people we asked was Naima, and she gave me this
wonderful,
phenomenal blurb. And then she went on Facebook and was like, y'all read the book, and said just this stuff that as a debut author, you're so terrified that nobody's going to read it, nobody's going to love it. And her love of what I did was so empowering. And so putting together Boozy Book Rides, I'm like, we're going to have Naima, we're going to have Naima, we're going to have Naima. Like, I just wanted this opportunity in real life to say thank you. And it was, and just, you're such an amazing fan of romance. And so to be able to fangirl you back just a little bit is like this lovely moment. You're such a proponent of romance and a fangirl of writers. And I want to say that first, because I could just talk the whole time about how awesome you are, but nobody wants that. So
who does it?
Please. You're like, no,
it's like, I'm okay.
No.
Say that. I didn't stop you.
No. So let me say that first.
Tell me more about my
You're like, no, please don't. So you have this lovely, awesome, very hot, just compelling book that's out. Back in the Texans' Bed. Please tell us all about it.
Okay. Well, first, let me say that blurb was such a pleasure to give to you, because every word happened to be true. Because when they asked me to read your book and I read the blurb, I was like, oh yeah, this is my catnip. What? And And a female millionaire, who does that? Like, it blew me away to the point that, when you read a book and you're like, damn it, she's probably really nice. It would be so wrong to hate on her right now. The writing was that damn good. And it was so hot. It was everything I love. So let me just, raving about it was absolutely my pleasure. Reading it and reading every book you've come out with since has just been absolutely my pleasure. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're amazing. So let me just put that out there.
We're just going to do this for a little bit. Just get used to it. This is our first time to see each other in real life. So,
I know. So it's like, I finally get to
I love you more. I love you more.
No, me. I'm the guest. It's me. It's you.
Okay, so please.
Okay. Look. Okay, back in the Texans bed. Okay, it's book 1 in Harlequin's in the Texas Cattleman series, and it's a new series called Heir Apparent, and it's a second chance secret baby romance, and it's my very first secret baby romance. I love it, love to read them, but for some reason I've never written one, which was shocking. So when they gave the synopsis and everything to me, because that's what they do with the Texas Cattleman series, I was excited. And so it's about Ross and Charlotte, she was his family chef, and they had this secret affair, employer-employee, and they had this secret affair. She fell in love with him. He was like a playboy, and she thought he didn't love her. So and she didn't want to just tie herself to a man who didn't feel the same way back. So she left. Unbeknownst to her, when she left, she was pregnant, right? And so 3 years later, she's back. He sees her. He finds out he has a son, and sparks from there. And they have to go through all this thing with stuff with his family because his father's an ass and he disinherits them. And so they're fighting for this second chance, but at the same time, they have all their unresolved issues that they never took care of. And now they have to face and try to co-parent together and all that, and keep their hands off each other, which, spoiler alert, they don't.
Thank God they don't, because chemistry between these two is so and they're so hurt. I mean, they both are so hurt that the other person went away from them.
Yeah.
And both, it's like, how could you do that? You understand what, even though you don't spend very much time in the before the now, when their past relationship, you do spend a little bit of time in there, but you understand what that connection was and how much it must have hurt them to see the other person willingly go away from them. Like, you really, really get that. And that's what's so phenomenal about this book, is that there's real things at stake here. There's a baby, there's real hurt feelings. There's a fantastic class difference, this really wild class difference. He's white, she isn't, there's a lot of things at stake here. And yet you have this ability, it doesn't feel like being dragged over the coals to go over this. Like, you're able to balance there's really things at stake, and yet it's a romance novel. And so you're not just, it's angsty without being awful.
Oh, thank you.
And there's and awful, not being awful and badly written, but awful like the reality of that kind of situation. There's class differences, there's a baby, there's all of these things. And so, and you talk about that kind of your brand is kind of angst with snark. Like, you have snark, you have humor and angst. How do you balance those two things? And how do you kind of create these books that both delve into these really real issues, and yet there's still romance, there's still fantasy, and there's still escapism? Like, how do you juggle those two things?
Well, my pastor has this saying, and he says it a lot. He says, laughter does the soul good like medicine. Yeah. And to me, I totally believe that. You have to, life is not all heavy. Yeah. And for us, a lot of us, for me especially, with my family, we didn't really say love a lot. We showed each other love by kind of like cracking on each other, or being really sarcastic. That's the way that like we showed each other. And so I kind of think I bring that to books. It's not like I love angst. I love to read it, I love to write it, but at the same time you don't want it to be so heavy that it's just like dragging the reader down or dragging me down to write it, because in every situation you can find humor. Like for instance, like this kind of just show you, my mother had surgery. She had surgery, and they were after she was after like a couple of days later, they were taking the catheter out, and I was with her, and she was like a little scared because she didn't know whether it was going to hurt or not. And they were taking the catheter out, and the nurse was like, okay, can you just spread your legs for me? And I said, she knows how to do that. I'm proof she knows how to do that. You can find humor in everything.
Yeah.
Like it's like my grandmother's funeral. They asked me to speak, and like I love this woman, and you're at a funeral, which is like one of the saddest places to be. Like I loved her, and it was because I mean she lived a long life, and she was just a beautiful woman. But it can be so heavy, and so in situations like that, like in books, I started talking about how damn nosy she was. I mean, so it's like you can bring laughter and light moments into heavy situations, and not only does it brighten up or give another person relief, it gives yourself relief too. And that's kind of like what I take into my books. It's because I don't write rom-com, but I do have moments of like humor in it because I need that. I need that kind of relief. I love to read it.
Yeah, no, it's real. No, that's absolutely brilliant. The idea, because your books are really real and there is a lot of angst to them. And again, it's this ability to still keep them joyous romance novels. And that idea that's like creating.
Never forget that it's a romance. Like, you never want the issues kind of push them along or motivate them or make them 3D characters or make them flawed. But for me, and I have to make sure that when I'm writing this, the issue should never take over the romance between the hero and the heroine. It should never do that. I don't like it to read it, and I'm really, really cautious to do it as a writer to make sure that doesn't happen.
I really feel like every like writer who has like under like 3 books published should just be like, we should just call all of them and like be on this right now, because it feels like we're getting like this like a prolific writer and what they go through in their experience. Like let's just like, we're just gonna let you talk, and then we're just gonna listen. No, this is a really wonderful. If anybody is a young writer or wants to aspire and write, I think Naima is a wonderful person to follow in terms of like how they go about doing their job. I'll just calm down now. So my next question is, you're the most prolific writer we've had on the Boozy Book Broth. We've had a lot of debut authors, and you're by far the most prolific writer. And so I want to talk about that because it's really difficult to write a lot and write well. And you've managed to do both those things. So how many books? So I'm just going to kind of go through. I want to know, how many books have you written? Okay. How many books do you write a year? And then how do you do it? How do you write high quality, compelling books at such a quick pace? And and then we're just going to take notes because we just want to be you.
I'm ready.
So how many books have you written? First of all, how many books have you written?
With the book in April, that'll be my 31st book published. I've written 34 so far because like it's behind, but that'll be my 31st book published. Wow. Come April.
So how many books are you writing a year?
Last year I wrote 5, including if you include the novellas, I wrote 5.
Then I think Melanie, did you have a question?
No, I'm just over here like, Garth, like,
And then how do you do it? Like, no, literally, like we want the secret, because your writing is really spectacular and very like, it's specific. What's kind of your secret? I'm going to take notes.
Number 1, desperation. No, deadline. I was gonna say the deadline, because if I didn't have a deadline, honest to God, they wouldn't get done, because I need that kind of accountability. So,
External.
and that's not just traditional. That's just period. Even like for indie, because I wrote a sort of self-published book last year, and I had to give myself a deadline in order to turn it in, because or else it just wouldn't have got written.
Yeah.
So yeah, discipline. I've tried. I'm not always successful, but I've tried to be very disciplined, because I know that when you sign a contract, you have to deliver.
Yeah.
And I'd set a strict writing time for myself. I give myself 2 hours in the morning to like do social media and email and things like that. And then from 10 to 5, straight writing time.
Wow.
I try
Wow.
to answer texts. I don't succeed with totally being off social media, but I do like writing challenges with the writing buddy, and we do 1K an hour. Don't always meet it, but definitely don't always meet it. But doing that helps me stay focused. But that is my strict writing time from 10 to 5, Monday through Friday. And so I definitely try to keep that holy, try to keep, yeah.
7 hours straight of writing time is intensely impressive. Like that is a lot more than the average average writer can do. Like I got maybe 5 hours in me but I don't think I could write straight 7 hours. That's amazing, Naima.
Well, I take a list. It doesn't always that's like the goal. And
yeah,
I heard like I listened to like a live that Maisie Yates did, and I had this problem like beating myself up if I don't meet, like my goal is 2K a day. If I don't meet it, then I try not to beat myself up about it, because things happen, life happens.
Yeah.
But I've had to learn. A friend of mine told me early on, even when I was, working a 9 to 5, she told me the advice that her husband had given her when she started writing full time was, if you have to treat this like a job, like you would if you were going to, a 9 to 5 job, you have to treat it like that. And so I've always kept that kind of mentality. Like if I went to the bank where I used to work, and I would go there from 7:30 to 4:30 and give them all of that time, then why can't I do it for myself when this is my career? So I definitely try to keep that time holy. Only answer it for the Rev, aka my father and my husband. Because my father not trying to hear you not answering the phone for him. Like, he's not trying to hear that. So, but yeah, I try to keep that, definitely try to keep that and get the words in.
And do you have a big revision process, or what's your first draft look like? Is it pretty much done, or?
Oh yeah, I don't do first and second drafts.
Yeah.
I edit as I go.
Okay.
And because I just couldn't do like a second draft. I don't even want to read it when I get edits. I don't want, like, to me, reading your galley is torture. I have one waiting in my inbox right now that I'm like, oh bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I do not want to read you. I don't like reading my books. So to write it and then have to go back and edit it myself, and then have to have the editor do 3 rounds and then got to do a galley. No, I'm trying to cut one out. I edit as I go and I send it in.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. That's incredible, because Danielle and Melanie, I don't know how, like like a really rough first draft. Like I know I need at least 2 months at the end to do.
Oh, okay, that would be torture for me.
But I'm writing a book a year. Yeah. Melanie, Danielle, are you guys?
Currently, it's word vomit, and then like what I told my editor was like, let me just try and clean as many chunks off the page as I can. And I believe I did use the word vomit and chunks.
Sorry, go ahead, Melanie.
No, just I think like I do think that it's like you, like when you don't want to see it again, like you wrote this and don't want to see it again. I think that is, yeah. But like you skip dev edits altogether? Is that what you said? That you just don't do
Oh no,
development?
no. I don't do edits. I edit as I go. So when
Okay.
I turn in that first draft, it's as clean as possible for me.
Well, that's impressive.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Like she asked me, how do I turn? Like, listen, I don't know its quality until my editor comes back and says, without an editorial letter. If I don't have an editorial letter and I just have straight edits, I'm like, oh, I must have did a good job. But if I have an editorial letter, I'm like, oh God, I suck.
So I think I did that before I was writing traditionally, and like, so what's impressive about you doing that is you're doing it so quickly, because like I could do that polishing as I go on a very slow basis, but doing that with 5 books a year, that's
a year. That's yeah.
Yeah, like one of those was a novella, though. I just have to put that in.
Oh, stop.
Okay, if you just said 4 books a year, I'm like 3 books a year. I don't anymore. Yeah, all of it. I'm impressed by.
Yeah.
Is there a question from the audience that might be good?
There's a couple. Linda and Priscilla both want to know, Naima, how you've been so productive during the pandemic. And I think a lot of people can relate to this, whether they're writers or not. I mean, I just feel like, a lot of people writers especially have talked about how difficult it's been to write, or readers go through reading slumps, or people are just feeling less, for whatever reason, they're feeling less productive. So Linda and Pris want some tips on how to be productive during this wild time.
I might be the wrong person to ask that, because this, like, the pandemic, except for like, it didn't really like change my life in a way, except for when I had to go to Walmart, and I like social distancing. I don't like, so like I saw a shirt that said I've been social distancing since 2001. Yeah, that's me. And like wearing like all of that, but I don't, aside from like going to like Books a Million, I don't like going out. So I'm kind of a hermit. And so it didn't really change a lot for me.
Yeah.
But like with my husband being home and my daughter being home, that took some getting used to. I had to like that just took some getting used to.
Yeah.
So, the good part is I got an office in that time. So it's kind of like you can close the door, shut yourself in, and just write. But I've also allowed my time to like read, to kind of rejuvenate and get my excitement, because reading a really good book makes me excited about writing, and I can go in and focus. So kind of giving yourself leeway to have a break, not beat yourself up if you're not productive like 2 days out of the week. Okay, well, you just have to make that up. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just go read a book, watch Bridgerton, go, do something that kind of lights your fire and your enthusiasm for your book and for romance in general, and then go back to it.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. That's what I do, because I don't go walking. I love Nalini, I love Nalini Singh, like Squiggy, I just love her. And one of her pieces of advice was she goes to walk. And I know other people do that. My father does it when he needs to work out something in his head about a sermon. They go walk and they think about it. I'm not that chick that's gonna walk anywhere. I walk to refrigerator, but that's not as far as I'm gonna walk. So I gotta find like other things. And for me, it's reading. It's finding something that I love to walk away from the book and walk away from the stress. Give yourself permission to do that. Get excited about what you're writing again by reading by being like just so on fire about something you just saw. I don't care what it is, but bring that fire back to the book.
Yeah. They call that, I read one romance writer talk about feeding the well, and the idea of like finding whatever it is, but input being something that feeds the well. And I really identified with that, like that thing that like just, it feeds that fire, like, oh, that creative instinct. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not always going to be like the same for me isn't going to be for somebody else. Yeah. Like Nalini Singh, like, that's not going to work for me, but find it. And then a lot of us, like I had to do this, especially because like writing full time, especially coming off of, a full-time job, and then going for a long time, going from, two-income family to one income until, you know, you start getting the ball really, really rolling, was a lot of us deal with guilt about that. Like if you're taking a break and you're watching TV, like in the back of your head, like you can be doing something. You can be writing, you should be posting something, like getting graphics together. You should be doing something. I had to fight that a lot with that whole guilt aspect. And it's like, okay, but it's okay. You can't do this 24 hours a day. And if you do, you're not going to be good. Your book is going to sound horrible because the writing is going to be stilted. You're going to make life for everybody in this house a living hell. so you know, don't feel guilty about taking that time to like rejuvenate your spirit.
I definitely want to call everybody and be like, are you watching this? Because this is brilliant. Okay. So good. A next question. So I love that in February, the month of love, we're hosting the queen of love scenes, like real, just so good, so evocative, so unapologetically hot. You're like, this is what I want them to do, and this is what they're going to do. And I have to say, I'm sorry about it. And the one, and back in the Texans bed, the tension between that couple who just should not sleep together. Them getting together is this horrible idea. So of course they have to get together. They need to do it so bad. It's so hot. And I just loved every minute of it. So this question could essentially be like an entire hour in a class, but in like less than an hour in a class, like what are your keys to writing a good sex scene? First of all, so what do you think is the key to writing a good sex scene? Secondly, what is your process for when it's time to write a sex scene in one of your books? Is there mood? Is there candles? Is there incense? Like, you know, kind of how do you set the scene? First of all, what do you think the key?
I mean, the just Egyptian musk like candle right here.
You like summon something, you know.
Right.
So what do you think the keys are to writing a good sex scene? And then how do you set the mood for writing one?
Okay, the first key is you have to know your characters, because it's not a position, it's not where they're at. If they're doing it like on a car or they're doing it on a scene, that doesn't make like a love scene memorable. It doesn't make it like, you know, evoke emotion or anything in your reader. My tip would be know your character inside and out, because your characters determine what your love scene is going to be about, the tone of it, the dialogue of it, the position, where it's at. If your hero's a dirty talker or not, if she is, your characters determine all of that. And they make your love scenes unique. They make them hot. They make them important. And so that's the key. You need to know who your characters are. Do they need controlling? Do they like to be in control? Do they have issues that they need to overcome and they can overcome it through sex? Do they need healing and touch as a way? Because that's going to give your love scenes a totally different tone. Yeah. So you really need to know. You need to know your characters and follow their lead on the love scene. Second, know your story and your plot, because no love scene should just be gratuitous to fill a quota. It needs to have a purpose. It needs to drive the story forward. It needs to be a game changer. You know, it just, and to me, that makes it like, say, like, take, you know, back in the Texans bed, for example, like the first time they had sex was after he found out he was disinherited, you know, and it was after she had like, this is such a bad idea, we should not be together. And him being disinherited kind of just cemented the fact that they should not be together. Everything was against them. So that really just heightens the tension of the scene, you know? And so things are said, like you can use sex to bring healing. You can use sex scenes to make the story, to make their whatever situation they're in worse. You know, it can create more tension. It can create more conflict. Like, what is the purpose of your love scene? You need to think of all of that, because it moves the story forward. It makes it more memorable, and really, really makes the reader want to get to it. So those are my tips for it when you go into it.
Those are, yeah. I have you ever done a class on writing sex
I
scenes?
do, which is why I can give these tips, because
Yeah, like please tell me when the next one is, and I'm gonna like tell us all and just do it, and we'll pay you $1 million to take your sex scene class, because I mean, brilliant. Do you set the mood in your, like, when it's time, and you just write them, like it doesn't matter?
I'm going to show you my mood. This is my mood when I have to write a love scene. Dale! And then this is my mood.
I'm dying. Angelina, do you like candles? Do you set a mood?
No, I can write a sex scene anywhere, anytime.
I was trying to write one the other morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then of course my 7th grader comes downstairs and she's like, "Mom!"
Like, damn it.
Author boner death.
That's awesome. So yeah, they're challenging.
Because see, this is why they are like, it'll
Yeah.
take me 2 days to write one, because
I'm literally surprised. I'm literally shocked, because they're so organic and they're so natural and they flow so well.
but and the reason is because to me they are important.
Yeah.
Because it's not only like the reader has been going through all this tension, or even if you write it at the beginning of the book, it's important. It should be important. So there's so much that goes into it. It's like you have to give the readers clues to how or just say it, how the person whose point of view it is.
Yeah.
It's in, what is it changing for them? Because it needs to change something for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have to bring the conflict of the story really into the love scene. It should. Dialogue, emotion, choreography. Like there's so much that goes into it. And if you read any of mine, I think my shortest one was like 6 pages. So it's like, it's long. It's like, and so much goes into it. So it takes me a while. Like it'll take me 2 days to write one.
Wow. Yeah.
Some of them I can just go through. Like I can just go through. But for the most part, my husband knows when I'm about to write a love scene, because I'll come in there like, about to write this love scene. And he's like, just go knock it out. You want some help? No, I got this.
He'll give you a massage.
Yeah, he wants to give me inspiration. I'm like, nah, dog, I got this. I've been doing this all my life.
Can I ask a question, Angelina?
Of course,
I'm not for Harlequin with category, because I know like you talk about, they give you like a kind of a series Bible or a basic, we want you to move in this direction. Are there things like we want X number of sex scenes or anything like that you have to have?
Well, like the only time they give me like a story Bible is if it's like the Texas Cattleman Club or one of their other series. And then so they give you like a story Bible with the synopsis for every book that's in the series, but you still have to make it your own, and you still have to.
Of course, yeah. I just didn't know if there was like,
well, they do say like in the guidelines, it's like, I think for Desire, it's like, I think it has to be at least 2 love scenes.
Okay.
There has to be at least 2.
But nothing about it being at least 6 pages. That's all.
No, like listen, you knew what you was getting. And for me, it was the first time like writing like my first book for Harlequin. It was a little difficult because I was like, okay, I had to email my editor and like, what words can I not use? Because I use.
Do they have a list?
No, I gave her words like, can I use this, this, and this? And then she was like, okay, no, not that one.
Okay, and now
like, no lie, I got my first book back. Like I use clit, I use cock, dick. Like I use all of them. The only one I knew they wouldn't let me do was the P word. And for some reason I could write the hell out of that word, but saying it's like, like so
I did a short story for Harlequin, and I turned it in. My editor was like, "They will not let you get away with it."
Yeah, they won't let you use that.
Yeah,
so I was like, "Damn, what am I going to use now?"
There needs to be like a special just for thesaurus.
Yeah, like what? Give me the words I can use. But I gave her like, okay, what I got. So when I wrote it, like, because I use clit all through it, like I'll use clit a lot. So she was like, you can't use that because our readers like a little more, they don't want to add.
Like, can I use button?
I know. I was like, whoa, what bundle of nerds? What, like, I gotta get creative. So I was like, okay, I got it now. Can't use clit. You prefer dick and can only use cock like a few times. I got it now.
I just sold.
So you take the 2 days to think of different words.
Dude, listen, I have a list. And I go through it like, okay, did I use chat?
You just play bingo.
I just sold like my next series to Karina and
hey, congratulations.
My editor, Carrie Buckley, was like, I really love this for special edition, but we can't use it for special edition because your love scenes are too long.
I know, Angelina.
And I'm like, my love scene be too long for special edition. It feels like,
oh hell no, you could not. No.
Like there's too many and there's too long. So Karina Press is keeping them.
No way.
I know. So I know the complications of love scene.
It's like, okay. And then like with other books, like when I was like, because last year I like wrote like for HQN, and then I wrote like for Desire.
So that's more single title, right? That's like long. Yeah.
And it's not sweet. It's not sweet at all. And they were like, just what you do with Desire, do with that. I was like, well, all right, because I choked somebody up in a Desire book, but okay, you want to do that.
So with that,
people get choked up in small towns. All right, I got it.
And so that is a lovely transition into, please tell us about your HQN single title release that's coming up in April.
Well, yeah, that was a nice segue, wasn't it?
It was perfect.
That was great.
I am excited about this though. It sounds awesome.
It's my small town series, which I just love small towns books. I love small town romance. So getting to write one is amazing. But it's about the heroine. She's like the rebel, like black sheep of the family. She returns home after 8 years, after vowing that she would never return home. She's newly divorced, she's pregnant, and she's coming home because she wants to start over and give her child like a safe place to like grow and to raise her child. She bumps into the town mayor, who's also a widower. He's like widowed for 2 years. He lost his son and wife in childbirth, and he's like not looking for any entanglements because he's still grieving. But of course, entanglements happen because it's like a friends to lovers book. And then her ex comes, and he has this like agenda that forces them to have like this marriage of convenience. And so they have to figure all this stuff out, like find the road to healing, redemption, and all of that. And I loved writing it.
It's The Road to Rose Bend, right?
Oh, wait, look at here. It's The Road to Rose Bend.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, it's such a coincidence I had it.
Now, is this your first single title?
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
I know, I'm so excited.
So how many books are going to be in this series?
So far, 3.
3. Okay, awesome.
It sounds like she has plans, if you heard the way she said that.
Well, if Harlequin wants more, I'm like, listen, I'm right here all day.
The next Virgin River, Rose Bend. Let's go.
Yeah.
And what's the release date on that, Naima?
It's April 27th, but there's a novella that's coming out in this world on April 1st, and it's called Slow Dance at Rose Bend.
And this week you've been talking about it all week on Twitter, right?
Yes, that was last week. It was like Rose
last
Bend
week. Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a great time. Yeah.
And
So
you're
we're-
you're at Naima_Simone on Twitter, right?
Uh-huh.
People want to find out like all that news about this amazing single title.
Yep, and Instagram, I post there more. So like
Okay.
Instagram and Facebook, yeah. Like I just posted the inspiration for Sydney and Cole on those two. So you can see it there.
Yeah.
Our room mom will probably post that for us.
And doing it right now.
Yeah. And super exciting to see it like a full length. How many words is that, Naima?
Now, the contract says between 75 and 90. Now, I know you know something about this.
I just want lots of words from Naima Simone.
Yeah, it was like, it ended up being like 95.
Yay. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's good. You're still under 100.
Yeah.
When I turned it in, it was 101. She just got it down to 95.
There you go. That's a good edit. Yeah.
That's super exciting. Our room mom, our lovely Danielle, are there any questions before we move on?
There are a couple. Let me pull up because I have like a little.
They all had like suggestions for what you could use instead of clit too, by the way.
Oh, listen, I need a list. I need a list.
I believe I saw Hot Pocket.
Hit me with it on Facebook, whatever. Message me, give me suggestions because I've run out. I've run out of, like I've said, the bundle of nerves, the apex at the top of her sex. Like I've said,
It's all of them. I love it.
The button. I've used the button. I'm like, these people are gonna get real confused at some point.
Like where?
What's going on down there? I don't know what's
I
happening.
know what we're doing. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay, room mom.
I know. So yeah, we have a couple of questions that are related kind of to writing for Harlequin specifically.
Okay.
Carrie wants to know, do you feel, and you kind of talked about this a little bit, but maybe you can expand on it. Do you feel constraints in the series or when you write category, your books are so hot and complex? I couldn't believe it was a Harlequin.
Oh, wow, that's such a great compliment. But I wrote, well, it was a longer category length for Entangled.
Mhm.
And so I've kind of like, I know a category book and how much I can put into it with the word count. So I don't feel constricted because I also get to write other books as far as like, the self-publishing book where I can, go all out, let my freak flag fly, just let it go. But no, I don't because, they pretty much give me leeway to do what I want. I just can't use certain words, which means I have to get creative, but I still write hot love scenes. Like they're still like 6 to 7 pages long, like, so I don't feel constricted with it. And it kind of like with writing category and then writing single title and then writing like other books. Like I have a book coming out this year with the Cocky Hero Club world with, so I can write, mix it up with, I get the freedom to like mix it up and to write longer or to write shorter. Sometimes after writing a 95K book, coming back and writing a 50K, you're like, oh, thank God. It's like, you get a break, you get to like really flex your writing muscles because writing a category length book, thank you for that compliment. You let me segue into this.
Yeah.
It's not easy because the word count is like 50K or 55K because to me you have to make sure that so much goes into that. Mm-hmm. So there's a full complex story with 3D characters that's satisfying, so you really have to plot it out really well. You have to make sure that the reader has an experience when they finish it. And so that's my goal. And so that takes, that's work. So it's not constricted, it's challenging in a good way.
I think both you and Reese Ryan have really brought
Fabulous.
a new audience to the category romance. I think both of you guys have really shown how exciting that space can be, and in a way that people had minimized it before. And those were always really artfully drawn books because of, because of the limitations on it. But you and Reese Ryan have really done this amazing job of bringing a new audience to it, a new excitement to it. And people are now like, I mean, so category wasn't in like list, category wasn't in like best subs, and now that it's showing up all the time. And I do credit you and Reese for bringing a new audience to what category is capable of. I think
because like you put my name in the same like vein with Reese, like she is fantastic. Like I love her books. And then Harlequin is also going out and they're bringing all these voices to like
Their
design.
new covers are
Adriana, like,
yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I have the ARC of her book and I'm like, oh my God, I know she's going to kill it. Like Adriana, Robin Covington, and, you know, just all these voices, diverse voices too.
Yeah.
You know, they're bringing so many to the line, and it's, it's just can only be good things.
Yeah.
Can only be good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's one more kind of related to writing for Harlequin. Susan was wondering, and this was actually a question I was going to say for the end that I had, but like, do you get to choose which book in the series you write? And then I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about writing in kind of a continuity series when a different author is like writing a different book in one series.
Well, no, they tell me what book I'm going to write. Like they'll ask me like when they like bring the proposal, like about writing in this series, they tell you what book they want you to write. And it just so happened mine was book 1. But like the last, like this is my second time writing in the Texas Cattlemen Club world. And before it was book 4. So, and each one has its like kind of challenges, because if you're book 1, you're setting the whole world up for everybody who comes behind you. And you have to make sure that, you know, you're introducing the main characters and then introducing kind of the book that's coming after you. And then if you're like, say, if you're book 7, it's like, whoa, bless your heart, because you're like wrapping up all these strings, right? So each book, I think, in the order has its own challenges, again, in a good way. I love it. Now, all of my books for Harlequin, it's not like a ton of them, but I have 2 series that are just mine. And so my ideas, I come up with the plot, the story, and all of that. So when they ask me to do like a continuity, and when they ask you to do the continuity, whichever one it is, because I've also done like the 7 Sins one, they give you a story Bible that's like 80 pages long. I mean, big.
Whoa!
Yes, because if it's like 7 books in the series,
oh my God,
there's a synopsis in for each book. There's character sketches for each character in every book. They even give you pictures of what each character looks like, of what the setting looks like, of what the town is. They even tell you like places that factor into the town, like restaurants and resorts and everything. It's huge.
wow.
And I love it. Because I don't like, y'all know, because you know, you're writers, coming up with an idea sometimes it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
No, it's a little bit like writing fan fiction.
I was just thinking that it's fan fiction for something that you were not necessarily a fan of, but hey.
Exactly. Like, and it's really cool because you don't have to come up with your own idea. They give it to you. They give you the synopsis. They tell you all what like you might tweak some of the things like I did back in the Texas.
They give you a playground that you can just go play in.
Exactly. And it's fun because then you get to read like what happens in other people's books too before they come out. But they also,
I was curious about that. I'm like, if you're book 7, did you go back and read?
I've read all of them. I read every synopsis because number 1, I'm nosy, but number 2, I don't care about spoilers. But also number 2, it's like, for like, if you read Back in the Texan's Bed, then you know that like his mother comes in the book at the end. Well, her book is next. And so I was like, oh, cool. I want to read what happens with her. But also I want to read like in her synopsis, it goes into more detail about who she is as a person, what she's been through. Then I could put pieces of that in my book, you know, to kind of make the reader familiar for when they go to book 2.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
it's like, man, just working with authors that you really admire and love for all this time. And then you get to like actually work with them and talk with them and communicate, like, because we have like a Facebook group where we can like ask questions. Like somebody might want to know, well, are you putting this in your book? Or if I'm changing something in my book, to let them know. One of the authors emailed me the other day and asked a question about my book because she was writing book 7. She was working on book 7. This happens to be an
This is
author that
wild.
I really love. And so to see her name in my inbox, I like had a fangirl moment. I was like, shit, she's emailing me.
Oh my God, Naima, that just, I mean, that sounds like heaven. That sounds so amazing.
Break. It's a break because, you know, you don't have to come up with an idea. They hand it to you. And of course, you got to put your own voice and your own, you know, to it. But, you know,
but the idea of working in this kind of sisterhood of these other writers all working towards the same goal is so
Sounds pretty cool.
lovely.
And then, you know, you help promote each other because, you know, it's your series. And if somebody's going to buy book 2, you know, what are the chances of them going back and buying book 1 because they've read characters in book 2 and they're interested in what, you know, the characters in your book. So it's constantly like evolving, and you're finding new readers through somebody else's book.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I loved it.
So we just all want to just do what you do, like just do whatever Naima does, and that's what I want to do. And then everyone just follow what I do because I'm doing what Naima does. So it's so lovely. We are way past our time, but it's just great. Let's quickly go through Boozy Book Broads, Danielle, Melanie.
Yes.
What's coming up for you guys? What do you have going on in the world? My light even like shut off, like everyone's judging us on going really long. My light just died. But Danielle, like what's happening for you? What's coming up for you? What do you want to promote?
Well, wait, first there are a couple more questions.
Oh, okay.
I'll come through the chat and so they're both from Monica. So Monica, and people were very lovely in the chat and did answer this question, but I'm interested to hear what Naima has to say. She said that Monica has never read your books. And you have 30 of them and more coming. So, but where would you recommend a new reader to your work start?
It's a good question.
Well, Monica, thank you for wanting to read. Go with that feeling. I'm like, if you're like me, Monica, you're like a mood reader. So it really depends on what you're in the mood for. If you want billionaires, then there's almost all of my Harlequin books are billionaires. And then there's also the Bachelor Auction series. Mm-hmm. If you want like really hotter, like nuclear hot books, there's the Lick series and in the Sweetest Taboo series, which yes, Knox. Okay, because that's like a widow, like the brother, you're in love with the brother's widow thing. Like, okay, now Monica, jump on that. Okay, if you like sports, I got the WAG series. If you like romantic suspense, I have the Secrets and Sins series and the Guarding Her Body series. What else? Yeah, I think like, so it really depends on what you're in the mood for. And it's in how hot, like the heat level that you want. I don't write sweet. I write from hot to like nuclear hot. So it really depends on like what kind of trope you want, what kind of hero you want.
What's like the middle book for you? Like the book between Harlequin and like the hottest indie. Like is there a middle book? Because you're not helping her at all.
The WAG, yeah.
The WAG series.
Because they let me say like 3 times. So, and I can use click. So yeah, that one, that's the middle. Okay. That's the middle. Because the other one, I was using it all the time.
That's a great question. I think it's really prolific. It's great to know like where should I start. So, but it's impossible. Like it's like a Sophie's Choice. Yeah. Good. All of them? Read all of them.
Yeah, all of the books. Yeah. And then Monica's second question, because one of us, I think Naima, you brought up like, saying like, oh, just chill out and watch Bridgerton. And so she was wondering, do you think that Bridgerton has actually brought a lot of people to romance? And
My opinion only. My opinion only, because I know everybody has an opinion about Bridgerton.
yeah.
I would say yes, because I've even read I've read like Facebook posts and Instagram posts where people have said, I've never read romance, but I watched this and I watched Bridgerton and I loved it. And now they're going back and they're starting with the Bridgerton series, reading the books. Well, I mean, that's just like a gateway. We all had gateway books, right? And so that'll probably be the gateway for this reader who go on to other historical romance books or other contemporary or paranormal. So I would say yes, that it is opening the door for to bring people to romance and let them see how fun it could be, how emotional it could be, how sexy it can be, and enthralling. Like it's because it's all of that.
It's a singular art form that people do not understand, and they watch Bridgerton, and Bridgerton was so respectful of the romance novel.
Yes,
they hit all the beats, and it's a singular art form that people don't understand how great it is.
And the book is always better. So so imagine that. Except I don't know how the Duke is going to be better looking than Duke.
Who's watching on Saturday?
I've seen it 3 times.
Saturday Night Live. He's hosting Saturday Night Live.
This weekend, like tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm watching it. Oh, I love him. I loved him on For the People. And then this, and I'm like, but I got to see his ass on this. I was like, damn, eating that
many
damn
times.
The piston, no.
Oh God,
I've seen his butt. I've seen that man's butt more than my own.
And I ain't mad at it at all. This is nicer. I'm just gonna put it out there. His is like firmer. It just
those little cupcakes. Those little.
Now y'all, I gotta go watch it again. Just cause I gotta watch episode 5.
She knows the episode.
Okay. Are we good on questions, Danielle?
Yeah, we got through them.
Lovely. Those were really good questions. Thank you, Monica, for asking them. Okay, now we're going to try to wrap up. Boozy Book Rods, let us know, what do you got going on? What do you got to promote? What's happening, Danielle?
So this is like an exclusive because this has not been announced anywhere. It's not my book or anything like that. It's different. But my colleague at Fresh Fiction, Gwen, and I are resurrecting the Fresh Fiction podcast. We've recorded a few episodes. We've lined up some author interviews. It should hopefully be live next Wednesday. I'm like looking at my calendar, but Gwen and Fresh Fiction is actually based in Texas. I live outside of Chicago. With everything that's been going on, there may be a little bit of a delay. So don't quote me on Wednesday, but hopefully like within the next week or two, the Fresh Fiction podcast will be like back in business. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Look for me on my social and on Fresh Fiction. We're at Fresh Fiction everywhere, and we will be posting information about that very soon, hopefully in the next couple of days.
That is awesome. Melanie?
Yeah, I'm actually launching a new author chat series that starts on Sunday the 28th. It's called Mad About Me Cutes, and it's basically like, I've always been really nosy about how people meet like their significant other, or just people that are like really important to like in their lives, best friends, that kind of thing. So it's just really a chat about, I'm just going to have an author come on and we're going to talk about how they met their significant other, how they met their best friend, if they have any, like there's always like a wild family story about how grandparents met or something like that. So it's all about those meet cutes and about maybe their favorite meet cute from a movie, and then of course they'll talk about a meet cute from one of their upcoming books. And so so it launches on February 28th, and I am booked the entire year of 2021. I've got an author every single week from next Sunday until Christmas. And actually I'm already booking in 2022, so I'm so excited. And there's a lot of great authors, and I did tell my newsletter readers today, so I will tell the Boozy Book Broad watchers that my very first guests and it's not always going to be a couple, but I thought for the first one, a couple would be fun. So I have the romance power couple of Zoe Archer / Ava Lee and her husband, Nico Rosso. They're going to be my first. They're going to be my first guests, and that will be on the 28th. And so we get to hear about how they met and what their meet cute was, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's Sunday, and it's on my Instagram Live. You can watch it live or catch it later. It's going to be fun.
That is awesome. That is so exciting. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward. It's very, very much entertaining on our Sundays. I've got my Lush Money is on sale for $1.99, like in all the e-retailers right now. So if you're interested in reading about a sexy billionaire businesswoman and her Spanish prince who grows wine, just give me all the tropes and I will make them work somehow. But that's on sale for $1.99 everywhere. All the
you want to read it. You want to read it.
It's an excellent blurb from an excellent author named Naima Simone. So big fan of that. And then, yeah, I just, it's again, an exclusive to the Boozy Book Broad community. It hasn't been announced yet, but just kind of finalized a 3-book deal with Carina Press. So I've got a new series that will come out. I think it's coming out. The first book is May 2022. About 3 Mexican-American sisters who return to save their hometown bar, and in the process save their hometown they didn't realize they loved. So
it could be so good.
I'm very excited, and I have strong people behind me who are excited too. So my husband made me go drink before the Boozy Book Broads because he celebrate the wins, and we celebrated. So that was fantastic. Don't forget that we are doing the merch of the month, which is a 15% off the shirt. What's your trope? So
what's your trope? So Naima, what is your trope? If you had to pick one, I'm going to spring this on you.
One, wait. Fake relationship, marriage of convenience.
Yeah.
Gets me every time.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah, so what's your trope shirt? You get 15% off with the deal, Danielle, and that's in the
it's in the chat.
That's in the chat. So if we've got a code, you can get that with 50% off. What's your trope shirt is our merch of the month. Before we go, Danielle is going to choose a lucky chatter.
I'll look this way because my screen is over there, and I'm just gonna scroll a bit. Okay, first name I see is Caitlin Waro. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. So we will get your info and we will email you and get that gift card to you.
Yay!
Caitlin.
So fun, yeah.
And don't forget, you can get Naima's book, The Back in the Texan's Bed. There's signed book plates, I think, that you can get as well. So definitely go to Love Sweet Air to be able to get that. Melanie, if you could tell us who are our guests coming up in March.
Our Boozy Book Broad guest next month is Tiff Marcello. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly. Tiff is fantastic, and she's got a new book coming out soon, and a book called Far Away. I'm totally pulling this out of my.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of her next book. But she's wonderful, and we have her in March, so I can't wait.
Yeah, wonderful. Remember to go to lovesweetarrow.com to buy your books. Check out all of their fantastic merchandise. They have some great t-shirts. They have great candles. They've got surprise boxes that you can gift yourself or give someone else. Subscribe to their YouTube. If you never want, we want you to get the Boozy Book Broads all the time. This is going to go into our archive of you must watch if you want to be a romance author. So we're definitely going to keep promoting a fantastic night with Naima, because this is foundational if you want to be a romance author. So, please subscribe to the YouTube to be able to always get those and never miss a Boozy Book Broad event. And is there anything else anyone wants to add? Naima, I didn't ask if there's.
You were a fantastic guest. That's all I want to say, girl. It was so much fun.
I had so much fun.
I needed this tonight.
Thank you so much.
I'm just gonna start randomly sending you euphemisms for clit from now on.
Do it. And don't stop there. Like, keep it coming so I can get a whole list going.
I'm be sending emails out. I'll be like, "You'll be my best friend, right? You'll be my best friend, right?" Like it's gonna be scary and weird, but just go with it. It's fine.
I love it so much.
Yeah, I hope all of you guys had a wonderful time with us. And again, it's a wonderful opportunity to be with Naima. And yeah, please join us next month. We're always the third Friday of every month, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And thank you, everybody. And thank you, Naima. Thank you for the education. Thank you for the love. And thank you for just the constant romance advocacy. You are the biggest champion of romance that I know. And we all thank you for the work you do.
Oh, thank you. I've had a ball. Like, this made my night, made my week.
All right.
And what a week.
Yeah.
Thanks so